Master D. Reaper. Digimon Season 1 partner analysis request is still pending.
No worries, we can take care of that right now. Open file 27-01.
Understood. Accessing file.
When it comes to partnerships, there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all, and few illustrate that better than the 01 team of Digimon. Even with 8 different partnerships unfolding on screen at once, each one has a unique flavor, which reflects the personality, values, and traits of those whom compose it. Hey guys, this is D Reaper, and today we're going to break down the partner dynamics of the 01 team. If you enjoy these types of videos, subscribe to see more videos like it. But with that said, we do have a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. A good place to start is with our series poster boys, Tai and Agumon. Tai and Agumon are a lot alike. I think one of Palmon's descriptions helped describe it best. They share the same teeny tiny brain cell. And though the two can come off as pretty dumb sometimes, a more accurate interpretation would be simple, as the two seem to prefer a straightforward, uncomplicated way of approaching things. Beat the bad guys, help the little guys, save the day, and keep moving forward. Tai and Agumon are both born leaders. Even before Tai is made the official leader of the group, on multiple occasions where the Digimon are separated from their partners, the other Digimon will defer to Agumon to decide what to do. Even so, when they're together, Agumon defers to Tai, and this does extend to combat situations. Unlike a lot of other partners, Tai has no problem getting his hands dirty in a fight. Though obviously far weaker than his partner, Tai's adaptability in emergency and combat situations is quite advanced, and in many cases, especially when low on power, Tai's resourcefulness is the key that carries them to victory.
Well, Tai, what do we do now?
Agumon, how about trying to blast the roof?
That being said, I've seen Tai catch flack from some sources saying Agumon gets hurt a lot because Tai is so reckless, and Reaper has to disagree. Though it's true, Agumon does tend to get injured more than the other Digimon. It would be harder to keep Agumon out of the fight if Tai tried. The truth is, recklessness is another one of the two's shared traits. Agumon is always ready to throw hands.
Or claws, or whatever they are.
Or claws, or whatever they are. He frequently charges into battle unprompted with Digimon 2 or 3 levels higher than himself.
He's trying to fight that monster single-handed! Bubble blow!
The times Tai does hold Agumon back, even when Tai discloses his strategy, Agumon appears agitated, like when Tai stopped him from fighting Lady Devimon so he could conserve his strength for the next fight. And when the significantly stronger Paimon arrives and Tai gives him the green light, Agumon is more than eager to charge headfirst into what's certain to be a brutal fight.
Suit up, Agumon, you're on!
It's about time!
That's because Agumon sees himself as a true warrior. Really, they both do. And they're most comfortable on the front lines, charging into the thick of things, and handling problems straight on. Some of the Digimon undergo a bit of a personality shift when they change forms, becoming more feisty, more serious, or more stoic. But Tai's partner remains pretty much the same, which brings up another layer of their relationship, which is their frequent playful teasing. Tai and Agumon rib each other all the time, as a lot of good guy friends do, and it's pretty funny to see them keep this up no matter what form Tai's partner takes.
Tai, can I make a little suggestion?
Huh.
Open the door!
I don't know if this is gonna work, dude! I can barely lift you, much less throw you, Tubbymon!
Hope I didn't shake you too much, Tai.
Nah!
I'm totally convinced that if Tai was reincarnated as a Digimon, or if Agumon was reincarnated as a human, they would come back in each other's bodies. Whether human or Digimon, they're both headstrong leaders with big hearts, whose favorite time is mealtime. Alright, since we talked about the partner pair that's almost identical, let's look at the other side of the spectrum. That would be Joe and Gomamon. Joe and Gomamon are completely opposite in almost every way. While Gomamon is an optimist, generally playful, and lackadaisical, Joe is a pessimist. He's very dramatic and tends to take things a little too seriously more often than not. The same goes with their humor. It's very common for the two to make jokes, but while Gomamon's humor is very direct, like with puns, slapsticks, or over-the-top humor in order to lighten the mood, Joe is more known for his dry humor, sarcasm, deadpan delivery, and even morbid humor, which is often used as a coping mechanism. But these opposite traits go even to their physicality. Despite his constant complaining, Joe is a seasoned hiker and a great climber. He's well suited for the constant hiking and rough terrain the group encounters through their travels in the digital world. When it comes to this category, Joe's only weakness is he can't swim, like at all. And once again, for Gomamon, it's a reverse situation. Gomamon is semi-aquatic, but he appears much more at home, moving gracefully through the water than on land. He moves a lot slower than the other Digimon while traveling on dry ground, and struggles quite a bit with more advanced terrain like mountains, deserts, and stairs. It's because of this, Joe spent a lot more time carrying his partner in his rookie form, a practice that most of the others reserve for when their partners are in training. Because of their opposing natures, their relationship takes a bit longer to gain traction than the others, but fortunately for the two, this is one of those instances where opposing forces end up complementing each other, like sweet and sour chicken, or peanut butter and jelly. And though Joe would hate to admit it, the two make a pretty good comedy duo.
We're like circus clowns. We just get in the way. Don't look at me like that. You know it's true.
Near the start of their journey, Gomamon quickly learned how to push Joe's buttons, and because of Joe's more serious nature, he'd quickly get riled up, instead of realizing that Gomamon was just trying to play with him. And on Gomamon's side, because of Joe's overly serious nature, Gomamon sometimes has to do a double take to catch Joe's deadpan delivery and sarcasm, even though he himself is fluent in joke lingo.
Oh, you call that a hand? Watch it. I was kidding. Lighten up. Huh? What's wrong?
I think you actually have a sense of humor.
But as the two get accustomed to each other, we see them go from contrasting to complementary. Gomamon still pushes Joe's buttons, but it's more subtle. Instead of riling him up, it's more to curb his anxiety and help him focus on the positive. Joe also learns to recognize when Gomamon is trying to be helpful, and responds more favorably to his communication patterns. With Joe, Gomamon learns to dial back his always live in the moment attitude, and exercise a little more restraint, understanding that planning ahead and waiting for the opportune moment can pay off like a perfectly timed joke. And by the end, I don't think any pair appreciates their differences more than these two. But since we discussed a pair that grew to understand each other over time, let's talk about a pair that seemed to understand each other on a deeper level from the very start. That would be Matt and Gabumon. These two appear to have a deep understanding of each other on day one. I mean that literally, by the way. By the first night the group spent in the digital world, both Matt and Gabumon show that they are able to sense the true feelings of their partner, without communication or even through straight up denial in Gabumon's case. Though they both have this mutual understanding, for Gabumon it's on another level. At times Gabumon appears to know Matt better than he knows himself. There's a lot of negative emotions, insecurities, and trauma Matt tries to bury. He tries to run from his emotions and is successful in hiding a lot of those feelings, even from himself, but he can't hide it from Gabumon. This is why Gabumon becomes Matt's greatest confidant. Gabumon is shown to be an active listener, a silent companion, and a voice of reason, and on one occasion he even aggressively confronts Matt to divert his path of self-destruction. In this case, it was truly a "this hurts me more than it hurts you" situation. Neither of them are necessarily the loud outspoken, but they seem to be able to understand each other just fine without verbal communication.
That says it all.
One need only look to their actions to see a partnership overflowing with loyalty, love, and friendship. Well, since we discussed the pair who understood each other on a deeper level from the very beginning, how about a pair that's still trying to figure things out at the very end? That would be Izzy and Tentomon.
I love you.
Tentomon and Izzy may share some similarities, but it doesn't mean that they're always on the same page. One such example is Tentomon appears to be the most knowledgeable Digimon in the group. Like most of us, Tentomon gathers information because he thinks it might be useful. But like most of you, that's right, Reba made a distinction. He sometimes gathers this information from questionable sources.
Well, that's what I've heard anyway. We'll soon find out.
Leading to his information not always being reliable.
I hope you're not exaggerating, Tentomon, with another one of your wild fishtails again.
He could be, but I heard about it.
But for better or for worse, it seems sufficient to get the job done. Izzy's entire philosophy on knowledge acquisition is completely different, which leads to an at-odds philosophical discussion between Izzy and Tentomon, where Tentomon is trying to understand why Izzy thinks the way he does. And you can check out our character analysis on Izzy for more details about that. But to put it simply, unlike most of us, Izzy amasses knowledge for its own sake, answering questions that no one has thought to ask yet. Though Tentomon never really does make sense of Izzy's magnetic, and at times obsessive draw to the unknown, Tentomon accepts Izzy just the way he is, even though it's uncomfortable at times.
You know what I think? If we keep this gear from turning, we'll completely jam that creep up.
Or even better, we could not do that. Wouldn't that be fun? And then we can go look for the others like we should have done in the first place.
And later on, he goes to admire Izzy's unending search for knowledge, being reduced to tears when that core part of him is temporarily cut out. And on Izzy's side, though he's proven painfully ignorant when it comes to social interaction at times, it in no way reflects the amount that he cares about his partner. It's not uncommon to see these two fumble their way through communicating their emotions, but in spite of this, the love between these two is very easy to interpret.
Give me a hug.
choking me!
With the clunkiest pair out of the way, it's time to discuss the quintessential partners, being Mimi and Palmon. In Palmon and Mimi's relationship, Palmon acts like a mirror, as in, she pretty much reflects what Mimi's feeling. When Mimi's excited, Palmon's excited. When Mimi's upset, Palmon's upset. This might seem basic at first glance, until you see how far it goes. But there are examples of Palmon absolutely bawling her eyes out with no real reason or motivation to do so, besides, well, Mimi's doing it, so I guess I should too. And in one such scenario, when Mimi was removed from the situation, the tears stopped immediately.
Don't look now, but Mimi and Tentamon are gone.
Now what do we do?
Even when Mimi is completely losing herself in her spoiled princess phase, Palmon went along with the craziness without a second thought, and never paused to question either the ridiculousness of her behavior nor the growing cruelty, until the others showed up and pretty much forced her to examine the situation in full.
Yeah? Now that I think of it, she has kind of gone off the deep end.
Now, with this description, it may seem like Palmon lacks the ability to think for herself, but that's not true. When Palmon realizes Mimi is being unreasonable, she calls her a spoiled brat to her face. Something that it certainly pained her to do. Not to mention, she knew that it would mean staying locked up in a cell. And she is keen enough to discern when Mimi insults her, by indirectly saying she is in bad taste.
Well, I suppose, but I have a reputation for good taste to maintain. I'm in bad taste? Is that what you're saying?
This is something Palmon takes to heart. Unlike other grievances Mimi might have committed, while Palmon lets it roll off the back. And she even brings it up days later after she digivolves into Lilymon, where Mimi retracts her statement.
Am I in bad taste? No way. I'm sorry I ever said that. No biggie.
Not because her partner has taken on a more elegant form, but because Mimi has been in the process of shedding her fixation on superficial things. And in the end, no one has more trouble saying goodbye than these two. With Palmon winning away rather than face the pain of a goodbye, and Mimi going from inconsolable to content, just knowing she gets to see her face and tell Palmon that she loves her before she goes. The mirroring partners are an interesting concept, and our next pair actually has a similar theme. That pair would be TK and Patamon. But this concept has an additional twist. Instead of a typical mirror that reflects what is presented, in this relationship, Patamon appears to reflect what TK is feeling on the inside. Of course, in his normal state, there is congruency, like when they're joyful, happy, or even sad. But there are times when things get complex, and the two fall out of sync when TK is at odds with his inner self. Some of which is while he's in the process of self-discovery, or dealing with unaddressed buried feelings. We see some of this build up gradually, that TK wants to contribute to the team, but is turned away for being too young.
Not TK.
Aw, come on, me too, Matt.
No, you're too young and you need your rest.
Most of the time, TK shrugs this off, but as time goes on, we see Patamon slowly growing more subconscious about his capabilities compared to the other Digimon. And though suppressed, I believe these reflect TK's desires too, wanting to be bigger, stronger, and wiser like the other big kids. Something he does end up expressing much later in the series. I think it's also worth noting that the times that TK and his partner find themselves at odds is when TK is not being honest with his true feelings. Such as when he runs off to play in the amusement park with Digimon, when really all he wants to do is curl up in a corner and cry. Or when he lashes out at Tokomon for intruding on he and Mad's tender moment of brotherly love, when in reality, he was trying to mask the pain of their quickly approaching departure. There's additional evidence of this inner reflected relationship in the sequel series of Digimon. In 02, TK has grown into quite a capable young man. He's athletic, dependable, level-headed, charismatic, and quite popular with the ladies. In spite of this, TK is also very modest. He doesn't go around flaunting his superiority, and in truth, there are only a few occasions that TK really cuts loose and shows what he's really capable of. Patamon, however, seems to be overflowing with confidence, and seems to thoroughly enjoy getting opportunities to show off just how cool and strong he really is.
You know, those control spires really ruin my day.
And with a partnership as strong as these two, there's really no shame in that. These two really embody the concept of growing stronger together, and the significance of self-alignment in their journey signifies just how much stronger people can be when they learn to align with themselves. If the nature of that partnership was a bit too abstract for you, we'll keep things nice and simple with our penultimate partners, which are Sora and Biyomon. Sora and Biyomon's relationship seems to resemble that of a big and kid sister, with Biyomon playing the younger sister role, of course. Biyomon treats Sora like the one who has all the answers to life questions.
Sora, does this mean that we don't exist? That we're really not friends?
She thinks everything Sora does is cool and interesting, and is just happy to be a part of it.
Sora is fishing, Sora is fishing.
And even though her partner is very strong, Sora often shows concern when her partner goes into battle, building on her and running towards her mid-fight to make sure she's okay. Sora is a very nurturing individual. She gives her all to the team and those around her, even at times to her own detriment, though you'd hardly hear her speak a word of protest. As we discussed on our character analysis on Sora, oftentimes it's the people who have the most stable outward appearance that have the deepest internal struggle, and one of the common pitfalls tends to be performance-based self-worth. In addition to this, people can get so accustomed to the positive things that you bring to a relationship that they begin to forget the amount of effort it takes to maintain that positivity, as well as finding it difficult to recognize that the one who's always smiling may be going through their own hardships. And this may occasionally be an oversight of the group, but not with Biyomon. Biyomon is always watching, noting how much effort Sora puts into caring for her, as well as all of their friends. She sees the cracks in Sora's armor, and is there to steady her when she stumbles, and even sees her when she's past her limits, when the mask falls off, and she's left at her most vulnerable state. Biyomon sees it all, and still loves her just the same, and I believe it's acknowledging that this reciprocal love, untethered to performance, that helps set Sora free from the idea of merit-based value, and allows her to begin learning to love herself. And when it comes down to it, no other partner pair is as openly loving as these two. And last but not least, our final partner pairing of Kairi and Gatomon also displays what can be interpreted as a big and little sister relationship. However, in this case, it's Gatomon that acts as the big sister. A lot of times, Gatomon will tease Kairi playfully, or take a playful jab at her, to which Kairi really doesn't respond in kind. She embraces it, recognizing it's a form of endearment.
Do you have a furball, Kairi? No, silly. I'm okay.
Despite her small stature, even in champion form, Gatomon is tough, sassy, and assertive. She speaks her mind freely, even if it rubs people the wrong way.
Best thing is for them to duke it out.
I just hate fighting, and we can't let our friends destroy themselves.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it?
They're not dogs.
The deal is this. We just sit and watch them take care of business.
Oh yeah? I don't have to like it.
And though she can come off as standoffish at times, she's someone that has a great deal of compassion for others, a trait she displayed even while still in league with Myotismon. Since Kairi is gentle, self-sacrificing, and compliant to a fault, at times you'll see Gatomon speak up for Kairi to make sure her little sister gets what she wants and needs. And once more, this is a trend we see continue in O2, where Gatomon is very protective of Kairi, not just in a fight, but even in calmer, low-threat situations. On the flip side, Kairi sometimes holds Gatomon back from jumping straight to violence in favor of a more diplomatic approach.
If we find ourselves in any kind of jam, I can always armor Digivolve. Well, let's save that for a special occasion.
And Kairi's gentle nature can sometimes serve as a cover for Gatomon to embrace her softer side, without making it look like she's losing her edge. In their relationship, they're both able to greatly benefit from what the other one brings to the table, showing once more the beauty of contrasting, complementary relationships. I've said it before, but you really shouldn't sleep on the quality of a lot of these old school anime. Digimon is a show that continues to surprise me with its depth and attention to detail upon reflection. To be able to balance a main party cast of 16 characters on top of 8 very unique core relationships is no small feat. Yet Digimon Adventures was able to do so with a degree of excellence that very few series to date can boast of. That's why even after so much time has passed, these characters and partner pairings are still highly regarded as some of the most popular and well-recognized aspects of Digimon. A model that demonstrates that relationships come in a wide variety of forms, and that learning how to strengthen and cherish those bonds can help us grow into stronger versions of ourselves. Hey guys, this is D Reaper, and if you made it this far, we just want to say thank you for watching. And if you would take the time to leave a like on the video before you go, we'd really appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe if you like our video, so you don't miss out on the next one. So, what was your take on our analysis? Did we get it right, or did we miss a mark? Let us know in the comment section. For today's challenge, we'll give 2 options. Either let us know who's your favorite partner pair we discussed today, or let us know if you have a relationship that resembles one of the pairs we talked about. We look forward to reading it. And with that, it's about time to bring this video to a close. My name is D Reaper, and I'm a YouTuber for fun, and hopefully we'll be seeing you all in the next one.